Out here at the Rocco Leone shop today, we're going to teach you guys something. Remember, I told you that's going to be our big goal this off season, is to teach you guys about these race cars. I know a lot of you guys have heard about coils and short rods and panhard bars and all kinds of stuff like this. Well, we're going to show you what all that stuff is. Rocco Leone, nice enough to give us a little tour. He just switched over to this stuff fully this year, so he's still learning. So we're going to learn with Rocco here as we go through all this stuff. First of all, Rocco, how we doing, man?
Not too bad, thanks.
How big of a change was this? Because I've heard drivers say, boy, you think you know how to drive, and then you get in a coil car for the first time, and it's tough.
It's definitely a lot different. I do like being on the coils. I think it's got a better feel for me. Maybe most people are on them now, so it appears that's the way to go. But there's a lot more adjustment with them, a lot more things you can do. I guess a lot more ways to get in trouble too.
That's true. More ways to adjust yourself out.
Yeah, exactly. But so far I like them. It's taking a little while to get used to, and they're a little bit different for everybody. So,
okay.
We're still learning for sure.
This is the left rear, by the way. So we're going to start by going through all the parts. Okay, Rocco, what are we looking at here?
We got a basic quick change rear end. Hub, drive flange. Here's our shocks. We were on Bilsteins this year. Pretty similar to the front suspension on the race cars now. It's a shock with a coil overspring on it. Coil kit. That's how you make your adjustments, adjust your weight for your corners. Here's the panhard assembly.
The panhard bar is just behind that, going to the rear end, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
That connects it to the center of the rear end. For a long time, as long as I had been doing it until a couple years ago, people ran them on the right side. So that's something that's changed too. And these are the short bar brackets that you hear people talk about. Basically, making the lever radius rod, up to 7 inches shorter. Makes it react quicker. Puts roll steer in the car. So depending on track conditions, you move this bar up or down to get more or less bite.
Okay, so let's start with moving it up. If we moved it, because let me see, there's 6 different adjustments, 6 different holes you can put that in right there. Let's move it all the way to the top. What does that do?
So you move it all the way to the top. That's going to put, max roll steer in the car. So the left rear is going to move farther forward when you go
kind
in
of like a late model where it looks like it's driving underneath?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we want that, we move it all the way to the top.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. If you want to take some of that out, then you would move it down. I'm still playing with, where to have it, but.
And he's the third hole from the top. So if we moved it all the way to the bottom, what would it do then?
It would definitely take roll. It's going to take the roll steer out of the car, so the rear end's going to stay more square.
Mm-hmm. Which means what? Going in and out of the corner.
It's going to tighten you up.
Tighten you up. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, all the way through, or on the entrance or exit?
I'm pretty sure all the way through. I think with it being down, you're not going to have the roll steer, so it's going to tighten you up on entry, and I think the angle of the bar is going to help plant the left rear to get off the corner.
Okay. Do you ever change that radius rod to a different size, or are they all the same length?
Well, I originally I had the standard length, which is all the way up here where the front of this bracket mounts. After that, I tried a 2-inch shorter one, and then I went to a 7-inch shorter one. So I've been playing with them. The shorter one I personally like best.
Okay. All right. Now the panhard bar, which is behind it, it's kind of tough to see because of the rotor and the caliper are in the way there. But I see we have a bunch of different settings on that too. It looks like it's can you go all the way to the top or no?
Well, these holes are for a different bar that you would put on there. I don't know if you ever heard of a J bar.
Yes, I have.
I personally haven't run one, so I'm not sure.
So the J bar would mount up there on those upper holes then.
Yeah, so that mounts on the upper set of holes, and it actually mounts on the opposite side of the rear end.
I see.
So it kind of hooks around it.
Okay. Now, if you move the panhard bar up or down, what does that do to the rear end? Because again, that keeps the rear end from either moving. Is it up and down, side to side?
It doesn't really do anything to the rear end. When you move that rod, the holes are at a radius, so it shouldn't really change where the rear end location is.
Okay.
It kind of changes your roll center. On the inside, there's also adjustments so you can move it up or down. So depending on if you're looking for side bite, take side bite away. that's the bar you want to play with.
Gotcha. What is the advantage of having the coil on the shock in the first place? Having that coil spring on there.
You know,
more controllable on rebound and compression.
Well, that's controlled by the shock itself, which is a whole nother animal. I'm still working. Jason Barney, 87 speed. He's been helping me a ton this year, experiment and play with different things, and he's really helped me and taught me a lot. But I'm still learning on that, you know. And it's all a combination of the spring, the compression, the rebound, and how it's all working together. There's really a lot more to it.
Do we change the spring or change the shock or change both when we want to adjust?
I'll generally just change the shock.
And they come with the springs already on them, right? You got them all set and ready?
Well, it depends on what spring. I mean, if I'm going to use the same spring, I'll have a different coil kit already set up. So I'll just have to take the spring off and put it on the other shock with the coil.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That'll be ready to go. Hopefully one of these days I'll be able to get a spring smasher. You know, that's really...
I see some people having their haulers now. They bring them with them on the road.
Yeah, they're super nice to have. We're not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet. Okay, down the road.
Yeah.
All right, I wanted to point out one other thing here, and I'm going to zoom into it here because this is something a lot of the guys have told me about. See the red writing right there where it says battery? That's actually where the battery goes. That has got to be a major pain in the butt to change.
Yeah, it's not fun. We kind of made that little access door there. So I could get it out if I had to.
Yeah? Okay.
But it wouldn't be fun.
It wouldn't be fun.
No.
So, yeah, you do that at the track. That's what, 20 minutes, half hour maybe, right?
Oh, yeah, all that. Because everything connects to that, you know. So, obviously you got your mains and grounds and stuff, but, you know, the wire from the alternator and, you know, there's a couple other things. I don't know. It would definitely take me probably a good hour to change it.
We've got about another minute here, so what I want to do, I want to point out one other thing that Rocco had to do. If you look at the body work, you notice how it looks like he did a little trimming there at the bottom. That was something you had to do, right? You got a flat, actually the tire cut the body and it cut it down?
Yeah, I really didn't expect it because I was already on a short rod on the left side, on the 7-inch short rod, and I had a standard on the right side. And when I shortened that side up, this side moved more.
Makes sense.
And so I got in there, cut a brand new tire. It was what was that? That was the night of the short track Super Series race that they had for Central Reason at Utica Rome.
Which 2 inches? It looks like at least 2 inches, maybe, right? You had to cut trim off of that.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. So that's a common thing people deal with.
Yeah. Well, I think people have been doing it already. They already know better. So.
That's true.
They're smarter than I am.
Yeah, so next time you're at the stands, guys, and you watch the cars come out of turn 2, because that's the only place you're going to see it from the grandstand side, watch that left rear tire. It looks like it wants to drive right up underneath him, and that is something that they've had to compensate for. So I hope this taught you guys a little something. I hope you liked it, and Rocco will be back and do some things here in a little bit, and we'll teach some people some other things, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks.
Hit the blue E, that'll subscribe you. You want to learn about race cars and not just dirt. We're going to be doing drag racing. We got some exotic stuff coming up. We are going to be doing lots of cool things this off season, and of course we'll be back doing what we're supposed to be doing during the season. So thanks again, Rocco, and you have yourself a nice night, sir.
Thanks, you too.